There we are. Sorry. Um, I am going to be posting links to an online summit that I'm participating in. And I can't tell you right this moment what it is unless I look over here to, let me see. I just filmed yesterday and I have another little segment that I need to just record. But here we go. I'm going to send the links or put it in. I'm sorry, I cannot read it. Okay, anyway, Nourishing Vibrant Health. So I will put links up. We would encourage you to check it out. This summit it's the second that I've done with Dusty Cazoose. And this one is a focus more on practicality, practical applications of nutrition and healthy lifestyle applications. And my particular focus is on making things simple and easy and economical as well. So I hope that you will take a look at that. Again, we will put links both in these show notes as well as on our website, Facebook pages, Instagram, and all of that. So you can check that out. It should be really good. We have a lot of other people like our friend Sophie. She'll be on. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember half of the people, but it'll be a really good summit that I know you'll want to check out. So we'll provide the links. As far as our conference this weekend, it's just going to be fantastic. This is our fourth conference, our second at Melvin's Farm to Fork. Each one has been unique and very beneficial. Busy, tiring, yes, but absolutely wonderful. One thing that we're doing this year, which is different from years past, is that we're having our VIP dinner in the pasture. So as long as weather holds out, we will actually be spreading tablecloths out on tables in the pasture, and we'll enjoy a wonderful catered meal with farm fresh foods. Hope to see you there. I have a lot of other events coming up as well. Almost as soon as I return from our conference, I will be headed to Seeking Whole Health in Wooster, Ohio. We can provide a link for that as well. That is happening next week. Pre-conference workshops are happening Thursday afternoon, and then Friday and Saturday, man, do they have a boatload of speakers. A lot of excellent speakers like Joel Salatin giving a keynote, doctors and researchers, our friends, Chef James Berry and his wife Margaret, who has Restorative Wellness Solutions, and Kat Owens, and just a whole lot of really interesting and informative speakers. So that is Seeking Whole Health next weekend. After that, the next thing that I will be doing is in Missouri at the Homesteading Life Conference with Doug and Stacy, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. That will be happening in Vandalia, Missouri. So that is another really cool event. I've really just enjoyed it ever since I finally went on board and said, okay, I'll come. I'm teaching, I think, 4 different topics. But this conference is good for people who are interested in homesteading, everything home related, health, wellness, how to grow and prepare foods that are good for your family. But man, they have butchering workshops, all kinds of things. So that is coming up then. Let me see, I'll give you the dates. And Carmen, I see you. I'm going to see you there. So the Missouri Homesteaders Conference is the 16th and 17th. Again, Vandalia, Missouri with Off Grid and Doug and Stacy. You can find tickets and more information at homesteadinglifeconference.com. And then, let's see, I'm just looking at my calendar. I will be at Exit and Build at Polyface on the 23rd and 24th of May. Then I am off for 2 weeks in Maine with my husband, where he will be working and I will be up there writing and filming. When I get back from there, June 18th and 19th, I'll be speaking at the Food Independent Summit in Walnut Creek, Ohio. Then on the 25th of June, Natural Hope Wellness Day. And let me see, I have a couple of other things tentative, but I'm taking July and August pretty lightly. In late August, I will be preparing the food along with Sophia Ang for the homesteading or homesteaders jamboree that is happening from August 4th and August 4th, August 29th and 30th. That will be in North Carolina, in the beautiful mountains of North Carolina, and we'll give you more details about that later. I will also be speaking there. But I have a lot going on in May and June, including a new baby coming to this family. That new baby is due in about maybe 2 weeks, about 2 weeks from now. Yes, 2 weeks from Friday, that child is due. And that family, our daughter's family, lives with us currently while her husband is deployed, and they are searching for a new house to buy, a new homestead. So, man, we've got a lot in May, don't we? It's going to be a busy, but good month. And I am already sort of feeling tired just thinking about all the places I have to be and all the things that we have going on. I have a lot of talks to prepare as well. But it will be good, and I'm excited to go to Maine, where life is just so different. It's slow and quiet and peaceful there. We go to the town of Lubec, which is the easternmost town in the U.S. It is literally a stone's throw from Campobello Island, where the Roosevelt family had their vacation home, and FDR spent many happy days, weeks, and months there, both as a child and later as a president of the U.S. That is a place where we enjoy the rich and abundant fresh seafood. We'll have fresh lobster and scallops and flounder, and I don't know. Those are the things that I really crave when I'm up there. Fresh lobster. I go to the wharf. I'll have to film some of this. I go directly to the fisherman's wharf and I pick out lobsters. We'll usually have one huge lobster dinner and maybe a couple of smaller ones. So I go to the fisherman's wharf and I pick out my lobster fresh out of the ocean. And then we take it back to the house, which is in a spectacular location. It's this beautiful house that sits up high above the ocean on its own private cove. You don't see other houses or people around you. You just see the beauty of nature and you hear the roaring of the waves. Even in stormy weather, it is just awesome and beautiful. I've watched wooden schooners sailing by and cruise ships off in the distance, whales and seals, and every day there are loons and eagles, and it's just full of beauty. We go hiking on the trails. My favorite hike, my most favorite ever, that I do every year at least once, is in a nature preserve that adjoins the property where we go. But we have about 50 acres to roam and enjoy. And I just cannot tell you how much I enjoy it. I hate the very long drive. I don't like being so far away from home and the rest of my kids. But one of our kiddos works with my husband and will be going along. And our friend Maurizio, he'll be up there and he and I will cook together. I'm sure that I will film some things. It's going to be so much fun. And again, relaxing. So I'm looking forward to some kind of peaceful, quiet downtime and the time and opportunity to get some things done, some writing, some filming, and some planning and creating. So that will be my first 2 weeks of June, but then I'll be coming back and unpacking, repacking, and taking off for Ohio for that 2.5 days that I'll be speaking and teaching at Seeking Whole Health. So that's where we are for the coming month and a half. And in the meantime, we're making lots of plans to interview some very interesting people with these YouTube lives. Next week, it will be Pam Schoenfeld. We tried to record this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I accidentally did not record our interview. Instead, I mistakenly recorded a phone call, a private phone call between Pam and I that went up on YouTube Live, and maybe some of you saw that. It was not meant for everyone's ears, but that was my mistake. I wish I didn't need glasses or contacts, but at the moment I do, and I didn't see the switch properly. The button that I thought I had hit, I had not engaged until afterwards. Anyway, so I don't have a lot of questions today, but I'm checking in on our Facebook page to see what we do have. And let me switch accounts here to see what we've got. We do have some questions, in particular about the economy of, okay, here we go. Yeah, the economy of healthy eating. And then I also get a couple of other questions, one relating to that, which also relates to the summit that I already mentioned, and that being making food prep easy. I will be filming a course very, very soon with my daughter, Erin. Or maybe I'll do it in Maine. I don't know. But we will be recording a Food Prep Made Easy course. I have a lot of tips and tricks. And some of these things I wish I would have figured out years ago when I had 7 or 8 or 9 kids running around the house and was farming and doing all of that stuff. And I was still very much figuring things out. But since those early years, I have figured out quite a lot. And I hope to share some of my tips and tricks with you. But the food prep course aside and the summit aside, where you'll get some of that, I just want to talk about keeping things simple in the kitchen in answer to that question. And first, let me say hello to Kathy. Nice to see you. I'm glad that you're here. And Kathy would like to know the focus of our channel. So we are all about bringing hope and what is our moniker? Bringing the encouraging message of health, hope, and healing through timeless principles found in God's Word. And to that end, we explore a wide variety of topics. We talk about food as medicine. We talk about lifestyle and healthy food habits, how maternal health and nutrition, non-toxic and natural healing modalities. We talk about how the world around us affects our bodily and spiritual health as well, the emotional, spiritual connection to health and wellness. We talk about growing food, preparing food, everything pertaining to health, wellness, and healing God's way. And to that end, on the channel, we do interview quite a few really interesting and knowledgeable people. I've been in this realm now for about 23 or 24 years. I've worked with the Weston A. Price Foundation for that long. Learned so much, including by trial and error, but reading, attending many conferences, interviewing people, doctors and practitioners and scientists and researchers, just learning, learning, learning. And I don't know it all. If you ever hear me say that I know it all, slap me. I'm not kidding, because I just want to keep on learning and sharing what I learn. Occasionally, I have changed my mind on some things or maybe altered a little bit of my viewpoint, but pretty much everything that I do sticks according to God's word and natural principles. I am not a proponent of gobs of supplements and pharmaceuticals or crazy things, but we at God's Good Table recognize God-given things that help us, including the sun and sunlight and the energy that comes from the sun and absorbs into the earth, and the benefits of walking barefoot in the grass and breathing fresh air and soaking up sunshine minus sunscreen, eating all of the God-given foods, and that includes many that are vilified. So they're vilified by faulty studies and people with an agenda. God's word does not vilify any of these things that are vilified today, but vindicates. So that's kind of what our channel is about, but you can browse through our many interviews and you'll see that we talk about everything from raw milk to natural cancer treatments, for instance, and everything in between. And we are not done yet. So next week's show, again, with Pam Schoenfeld. We've been friends for a long time. She is a certified nutritionist, a registered dietitian. And she realized many years ago that what she was taught in school was not helping people to be well, but actually was causing harm. She advocates for a whole foods, natural foods diet, rich in animal foods, some of which we're going to talk about, fully formed true vitamin A, the fat-soluble activators that make our body strong both physically and builds our immune system so that we can resist disease and overcome disease. We'll talk a little bit about the dreaded measles, which should not be dreaded at all, in my opinion. We should actually be embracing childhood illnesses for the most part. If we're healthy and strong and building robust health in ourselves and our children by eating good foods, a healthy lifestyle, which includes plenty of movement, exercise, not necessarily at the gym, but just regular exercise. I went for a walk this morning and I hopped in the pool for about half an hour for my exercise today. So we want to get back to nature and building strong and healthy families. Next week, we're going to go into a lot of that from a nutritional aspect, as we often do. Okay, what was the name of the cooking appliance that you travel with? Okay, you're probably thinking of one of two things. I carry an induction burner with me when I'm going out of town. Won't need one this weekend because we're having all of our meals catered, thankfully. But typically when I'm traveling to speak at other conferences, I don't like to eat the crappy food. I'm sorry. I won't. I'm very particular about what we eat. And that doesn't mean that we absolutely never go out for an ice cream. We happen to have a really good, fresh, local burger joint in our town. And we go there about once a month, and I embrace it and enjoy it. And we all enjoy that. But that's not a crappy junk food excursion. That is a happy compromise that we enjoy from time to time. But because I'm on the road a lot, I'm not going to eat crap. I'm really careful when I do go to a restaurant. I try to eat things like a good burger, not on an ucky white bread toxic bun, but just a good burger with cheddar cheese or something. A salad, I'll often carry my own homemade salad dressing, or I just do something simple like olive oil and vinegar. I carry salt with me because I find that, first of all, it's super important that we be careful about what we put into our bodies. Obviously, that's what we're all about, both food and material into our brain as well. But it's difficult to find good food when you're on the road. When I'm traveling, I do look for Chipotle. That is my go-to. Otherwise, I do like to find local farm-to-table restaurants. So maybe I'll eat out once a day or once every couple of days. But otherwise, I carry an induction burner. I have a whole kit with me, actually. And man, Carmen, I wish I would have thought to, sometime I'll bring it up and we'll go through it. But I carry a whole kit. It's in a milk crate, and it includes that induction burner and a heavy steel pan, and then some basic supplies like good olive oil, a vinegar, good quality salt, some Redmond real salt, seasonings maybe. What else do I have in there? I'll always carry my own fresh eggs and butter, always butter, a few things like that. So I carry those. And I also did buy one of those personal size Blend Tech travel blenders, so I can toss an egg and some whole milk yogurt in there and some raw milk and whatever fruit I happen to have. But I can throw that in the Blend Tech and I can mix it up in about 30 seconds. I have something good for breakfast. But typically in a hotel room or an Airbnb, I'm just frying up my eggs. Well, in an Airbnb, obviously, I do usually have a stove. But otherwise, even in a hotel with that induction burner, I can make my eggs in the morning. I can cook a burger or a steak in the evening. I can bring my components for a good soup, my reduced stock, maybe some frozen vegetables and frozen meat, and I can mix that up in the pan on the induction burner. So that is the appliance that I always carry with me. Unless like this weekend, I don't need to worry about food. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to have really good food again. So I carry those two things, but the induction burner is key. And it doesn't have to take up a lot of space. If you travel much at all, it's fairly simple to just keep a box or a crate with just those few basic things. So even when I go to an Airbnb, which is what I try to do more often than a hotel, I still carry my own pan, at least one pan, because I don't like to use aluminum or nonstick. So I still carry a pan. I don't like to use plastic or nylon utensils, so I bring a flipper and a spoon. I even carry my own mug and glasses because I don't like to drink out of plastic, and I will not drink out of styrofoam. You're putting toxins directly into your body with styrofoam, especially if, say, you're making a cup of tea in the morning like I do first thing every morning. I will not have that in styrofoam, so I carry a mug. So I would suggest doing the same thing if you do any amount of travel. Just make a box or a crate full of just essentials so that you can just grab and go. Obviously, I'm refilling things like eggs and milk, but otherwise I have all of the staples right there in my crate and I just grab it and go. It works really well. Okay. I bring my teas and things like that too. But as to the ease of food preparation, just day in and day out as well, I keep on hand at all times a few simple things. I make a mirepoix, which is just a classic onion, garlic, celery, carrot mixture. Actually, mirepoix classically does not have garlic, but I almost always use garlic, so I toss it in there anyway. I make batches of that. I use my handy dandy food processor, which I think we have a link for now on our website. I had another food processor. Unfortunately, I set the bowl on my kitchen ledge by my stairs and I bumped it. It fell down the steps and shattered. I could not find a replacement bowl. So as a Christmas gift, our children gave me a Ninja food processor. I wasn't sure I would like it because I had really liked the previous one. I have to say, I love this thing. I'm actually happier with it than I was with the one before, even though volume-wise it doesn't make as much. It's actually easier and faster than the previous one. So I chop up my vegetables and my seasonings together ahead of time, and then I simmer them for about 15-20 minutes in olive oil and ghee. You could use butter, but the reason I use ghee is twofold. One is that people who are sensitive to dairy are almost always just fine with ghee. So you get the benefit of the nutrients that are in butter and the flavor that butter provides, but without the lactose and the milk solids. So ghee is a wonderful thing. And also because it does not contain the water portion or the lactose portion, it doesn't tend to spoil like butter does. Butter still takes a while to spoil, but by using the olive oil and ghee combination, I can store this concoction in my fridge for a month or more at a time. It doesn't go bad. I make at least 1 quart at a time, usually 2. 1 quart will last me easily 2 weeks, maybe a month. It depends on how many family dinners and parties we have, which seems to happen a lot around here. But that is just a simple preparation that I do once, and it saves. I can't even guess at how much time it saves. I don't have to chop. I don't have to clean up multiple times. I don't have to cook it multiple times. It's done. And then I always have stock in the fridge as well. So right now I have some chicken brining. I'm going to make another batch of stock to take along with me to our conference. But we'll have some roasted chicken as well to make chicken salad and for soup. So I can chop up the chicken after I have brined it and then roasted it. The flesh meat is there available for meals, whether I do a casserole or a soup or a chicken salad or a green salad topped off with chicken. It's there in the fridge chopped up. I can freeze it in portions as well if I want to. And then the stock that I make, the chicken stock, I cook for about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. And after I strain it, I reduce it. I reduce it by at least 50%. And oftentimes, you've probably heard me say, I reduce it down to goo. I can take a gallon of stock and reduce it to about 2 to 4 tablespoons by just slowly simmering it down. And then I can store it in a jar. I cover it with ghee and I put it in my cabinet. I don't even have to refrigerate it, but I can just scoop out a teaspoon at a time or a half a teaspoon, toss it into a pan, add as much water as I need. Maybe I don't add much at all. I just am using it for a flavoring, like a bouillon cube, only it's real. And then I can mix that with vegetables and add meat. I can make casseroles with shredded cheese. I will shred enough cheese for at least 2 weeks at a time. Also, I don't like to use store-bought shredded cheese because it will have cellulose and or potato starch added, both of which can be highly problematic for people who have autoimmune diseases like my husband. So that will aggravate his rheumatoid arthritis. Therefore, I buy the big blocks at Costco of good aged cheddar cheese. I like the one from England, Kerrygold, or from or Cabot. That's okay too. Or I buy the Amish raw milk cheeses, but I can shred up pounds at a time. I don't generally shred so much that it's going to go moldy, because that is something I have seen happen. So I shred what I can use in about 2 weeks, and then I keep that in the fridge. So again, I can take that. I can make some quinoa or rice. I can make a casserole by layering the grain and the meats, maybe cheese. I can cover it with the broth that I will reconstitute, a layer of vegetables, anything you think of, you can do. But because you have these things, the preparation part already done, you can just combine. Another thing that I do is I take ground beef mixed with some ground organ meat and I brown it in a pan. And I store that in the fridge also. So I have alternatives. Right now I have the equivalent of about 2 gallons of beef broth in the fridge. I'll be taking that with me also. I'll mix some Dr. Cowan's Garden vegetable powders in there, and we'll have that to sip on over the weekend. The same with chicken stock. I'll take the chicken stock and we'll mix Dr. Cowan's Garden products along with everything else. And then we have a really nutritious and delicious something to sip on. It is filling and satisfying, especially if you add a scoop of butter or you add that the mirepoix concoction. Lots of things. You can also make other concoctions, as I sometimes do. But it just makes meal prep quick and easy. Carmen, I love my Polyface mug too, but do you have a God's Good Table mug? I don't have mine right here with me. I usually do, but I didn't grab it today. All right. That's covered a couple of questions. I guess one other question is about, we will eventually have an interview and a talk about the V word that I have to be very careful with here. It's not going to be today, but we get questions about that in general, childhood V's. And we also get questions about recovery. And I want to tell you that we should not fear these things. They're part of God's design. Most of the childhood illnesses, when they occur naturally in a fairly healthy individual, they don't kill, they don't maim, they're not horrific. Now, in the weakest of people, yeah, that can be problematic, but we shouldn't be as weak and as sick as we are anyway. And that's why God's Good Table is here. We want to help you learn how to be healthy and strong. But for the vast majority of us, these childhood illnesses are just bumps in the road. Yes, you don't feel good. Maybe you get a rash if it's measles or chickenpox, but you get over it and your body is stronger for it. And there seem to be some protective factors involved in, for instance, acquiring natural immunity to measles by having measles. One documentary series that I can recommend along this line is Vaccines Revealed. There's one other one. Truth About Vaccines is another. I have both. I actually need to watch both of them again. It's been a few years, but you can find those online. I especially recommend Vaccines Revealed. I learned more from that than I have much of anything else. And there are very good books like Dissolving Illusions by Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, whom I will get in touch with to interview soon. Turtles All the Way Down, Neil Miller's, can't remember the name of his book. We have several of these books on our resource page. So we don't want to turn anybody off by making you think that we just are anti-V. I'm just going to say that. But rather, we appreciate God's design and want to teach people how to utilize God's design for our bodies and the foods and natural medicines that He provided for us so that we can resist and recover from most things. And then with a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle, a healthy spiritual life, we can resist even more. And with non-toxic healing modalities, we can recover from almost anything. Like my father did. He recovered from pancreatic cancer in 4 months with no chemotherapy or radiation, primarily with food and one little innocuous medication that I knew about, and I tracked down a doctor to oversee his program and to prescribe it. So you see, there are lots of ways of healing, lots of ways of building your bodily strength so that you can resist and recover and then be stronger. So we're not ignorant to all of the, I want to use the propaganda word. Much of it is. But we're not ignorant of all of the information that is out there about why we need this, that, or the other thing. And well, we don't have polio anymore, so, that must work. Oh man, there's so much to unpack about that. So much to unpack. And by the way, we do still have that. We just don't have iron lungs. And we don't have all of the severe issues that people experienced in the 1950s. And there are reasons for that, which we can go into another time. But if you read either of the two books in particular that I mentioned, Dissolving Illusions and Turtles All the Way Down, you'll understand where I'm going with this. There's so much information. I'll also recommend along that vein that you check out Joe Rogan's podcast. He interviewed Dr. Suzanne Humphries. There are some shorts on YouTube, but you can go to the whole interview on Spotify or Apple or wherever you like to listen. That interview is amazing, and she does not this woman is a wealth of information, and she is a courageous woman, and I don't use that term lightly. She has been vilified, mocked, threatened, and some other people like her are no longer with us, but she's still here, and she is an advocate for truth. I'll leave it at that. So check out the Joe Rogan interview with Dr. Suzanne Humphries. Suzanne spelled with a Z, Humphries, Humphiries. So check that out, and I'll let you know when we can have her on. And yeah, I had a couple of friends who had polio as a child. I also have had one friend die from the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That is credited credibly to the polio vaccine of the late 50s. So there's that too. Okay. Do I have any other questions? I'm going to double check here. I think I've gone over everything that's come in of late and since I posted. So, okay, no more questions there. But feel free to send in questions. Sometimes I do an Ask Me Anything with a focal topic, and that is probably what I'll do next time around. But I'd like to know what you are interested in hearing in particular, and also people you might like for me to interview. But if there are particular topics that you would like for us to cover, either in an Ask Me Anything or in one of our regular YouTube live shows, please just let me know. I would love to address things that are of interest to you, of interest and concern. So with that, I'm going to let you go. My sweet daughter, Erin, who's normally with us through at least part of this, is on her way to visit two of her siblings and daughter-in-law, and our currently youngest grandchild. And then she's going to be joining me at Melvin's Farm to Fork tomorrow afternoon for setup for our conference. I really hope to see some of you there. Carmen, I know I will see you in Missouri in mid-May. But if anybody else wishes to come along this weekend or at any of these other events, we have information on our website on the events page. So I will call it a day with that. I have to get my slides in right now for the next thing going on. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. But I hope that you all have a good week, and we'd love to hear from you. So please don't be shy. Let us know what you think. If you have any critique for us on anything that we're doing here on YouTube or elsewhere, we're always open to constructive criticism, and no, we will not be offended. So let us know what you think, what you'd like to hear. And in the meantime, everyone, please have a great rest of your week. And we'll be bringing Pam's interview to you next week. It will be pre-recorded. So if you have any questions for her, please drop them in the comments section here or write us at hello@godsgoodtable.com. Thanks. Have a great week.